broadcasting to all of Northern California. This is KNBR Tonight.
Way back there, it is gone! A home run for F.P. Santangelo.
With F.P. Santangelo.
A three-run shot, and the Giants lead 4-1.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Sports Leader.
All right, what a football game. F.P. Santangelo here, KNBR Tonight. I'm going to do the post-game show for a football game that nobody cared about. All right, it's over. Now we talk about baseball. Some good games today. Did you guys watch? Did you get a chance? Diamondbacks with a walk-off. Ketel Marte, fastball high, gets on top of it, base hit. I think we got a series. 2-1 Diamondbacks. That was cool. That was a fun one. And then Dusty beat Boach 10-3 tonight, and that's tied at 2. Who do you got in this thing? I mean, now we have it's game on. It's game on. If you missed it last night, and I hope you didn't, but we were having a clunky show, and it was just there was nothing to talk about last night, and I finally got wound up around 8:30. So it took me 2.5 hours to get in the mood for the show, and every once in a while you get writer's cramp, block, whatever. Like I'm spoiled. I'm a diva. Like in television for 11 years, you have producers that just lay everything out for you and just show up and do the show. Raph does a great job. Tony does a great job. Jacob does a great job. But like, it's up to me to provide the content for the show. So yesterday morning, my routine is I get up around 8:39, come down, grab a Keurig. I go for the blonde roast Starbucks Keurigs, black. Nothing in my coffee. I sit down. I flip open my MacBook Pro. I go to my go-to settings. First one I always go to every day is a Chronicle. I'm thinking, look, is there anything on there? So that's why I always thank the writers from the Chronicle because they give me ideas for my show, and without them, I couldn't do this. Then I go to NBC Sports Bay Area, and I dork around on their website. Oh, wait, I was supposed to say I go to KNBR first. I go to KNBR's website first. I don't. But I love our website. It's great, and I go to that first. That's third, actually. And then I go to KNBR's website, and I dork around. And I have this notes, the notes app in your MacBook, and I copy and paste, and I put show ideas and the date, 10/19, 10/18. And then I kind of figure out, yesterday, nothing, crickets. I go to sportsillustrated.com, I go to ESPN.com, crickets. There's no stories that when you read a story and it clicks with you, there was nothing yesterday. So I'm flailing on the air for 3 hours. And all of a sudden, I just decided, let's do a show about nothing. Let's go Seinfeld. And we just started talking, and the phone lines lit up. I said, give me an idea for my Halloween costume. And we had the greatest hour and a half of sports talk radio, NPR radio, whatever radio that I've ever had in my life. Mouse called, and he's a guy that's struggling with suicidal thoughts. And I gave him my cell number, and we told him, Mouse, if you're out there and you're listening again tonight, if you ever have trouble, you call the show first. You call my cell phone any time of night. I'll answer it. I promise. And we got to get you through this. And he has a support group, and it got real deep. And he said that, listening to my show has kept him from killing himself. And he was serious. Like, oh my gosh. So when we're doing this and we're dorking around and we're talking about sports, you don't realize the impact that you could have on people. I'm just talking, having fun with you guys. It's our show every night. We do this from 6 to 10 p.m. On nights when we decide to air football games that nobody cares about. We do it for an hour. Boach and Baker were on, but we played the Saints because everybody wanted to hear that. But I did have an engagement with the Giants tonight. I was at the ballpark. They had apparently you can rent the ballpark out for after work functions, and it was like a happy hour for this big corporation. They were hitting on the field, and they were taking grounders on a big league field, and there was a bar in front of the Giants dugout, and there was sliders and cheeseburgers and crab cakes, and it was really cool. So I did that, and I committed to that. That's why we're on late. I'm just giving you crap about the football show. And then we did that, and so Mouse called, and hopefully we got him through that. I don't know, but it just hit me that we are a sports talk station, but when you have a platform like this, there's so many more important things in sports, like mental health and getting you through the day and talking it out with you guys on the phone. I know the format is Brock Purdy, your thoughts, 808 KNBR. Farhan, your thoughts, 808 KNBR. New manager of the Giants. But then you get a call like that, that just kind of puts everything into perspective, right? Like we're just going through our days. We're very probably satisfied with where we are. And if we're not, we're trying to get somewhere better. But we're in our little comfort box, right? Our little comfort zone. I scooter into work on the Embarcadero. I do my show in the morning. I drink my coffee. I work out. I come in. I do the show. I go home. Some nights I have drinks after the show. Some nights I go to bed after the show. And you get into this little comfort zone in our box. You get up in the morning. You drink your coffee. You get in your car. You go to work. You come home. You eat dinner. You have a glass of wine. You go to bed. Like, I want to challenge everybody to do something different tomorrow. Like, get out of your comfort zone. Like, whatever your comfort zone is, whatever your little box is that we live in that we're very comfortable every day, do something out of your comfort zone. Like, for instance, like if you've never karaoke before, go to a karaoke bar tomorrow night and sing your brains out. Like, if you've never gone to a certain type of restaurant before, do it. Like, get out of your comfort zone and do something different and challenge yourself to get out of your routine. Because there's so much potential there for all of us. And I'm not getting preachy because I'm talking to myself too as I do this. There's so much potential for all of us to become better people and to expand our lives. There's so much potential out there for us to experience. But what happens is we all get into our daily grind, right? We get into our routine and it's comfortable, right? I'm going to go home after this, probably take a sleeping pill and go to sleep and wake up at 9 and do the same thing. I had a 4-hour show tomorrow. But maybe I do something different tomorrow. I'm going to LA this weekend to celebrate my birthday with friends. I'm excited about that. But try to challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone. I don't know, brush your teeth left-handed for a week if you're right-handed. It's just something different to like challenge yourself. So it hit me last night that we sit here for 4 hours and talk about sports every night. And it's really like the least important thing in all of our lives. It's a nice escape, right? It's a nice escape for 2.5 hours now with baseball, 2 hours and 17 minutes, whatever it is. To come home, crack open a beer, sit on the couch, and listen to Kuip and Crew. Like, great. It's awesome. Sunday, I can't wait. I like the East Coast games on Sunday because on the West Coast, you just wake up, 10 o'clock, you got football immediately. And then now we have the Warriors. So that's fun. And talking about sports is fun. But like last night, it hit me like a ton of bricks that like maybe this show needs to be about something more than sports on a nightly basis. Maybe like it's my calling and my job to be here for you guys, to listen to everything, not just your take on the Niners or your take on the Giants or your take on the Warriors or your take on Jim Harbaugh stealing signs, whatever it is. So fast forward to a couple calls later, and Mark, who is a country singer and loves country music, was talking. He just didn't call to like promote himself. He was calling to say that how much he has a passion for country music. Hey, will you guys shut the door? Thanks. I forgot to shut the door. I was born in the barn. Thanks, Greg. And he was telling me like he has this passion for country music. And then all of a sudden he just kind of drops out of nowhere that he posted one of his songs. He's 49 years old and he's been doing it forever. And he posted one of his songs on TikTok and it went viral. So Tony was producing last night because I have rotating producers. I never know who's coming. You guys need to text me in the morning. I never know. It was Tony's night to be stuck with me last night. And we Googled his song and we played it for him on the air while he was still on the phone. And it was powerful, man. So it went from like this show that was just literally the worst show I've ever done in my life to my favorite show ever. So we played him his country song and we played it for him and he was getting choked up. I'm getting choked up. The text line's like, you're making me cry. So like, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too deep as an emotional Italian man, but I just think there's way more to this, what I'm doing, than just having a take on sports. Like there's way more to life than having a take on sports. Like mental health, how you're doing, what's going on in your life. Like literally caring about other people. Like that's far more important than who I think is going to be the Giants manager. So like moving forward, I think we're going to do a segment like maybe once a week. I think once a night would be too much for me. Unless my therapist was a guest, maybe she'll come on to talk about life. We'll just call it a life segment, like 808 KNBR. We'll open the phones, and what do you guys want to talk about? What's bothering you? What do you want to get off your chest? Like, are you having a tough go? Because the biggest lie every single day that we all do is, how are you doing? Great. No, you're not. How you doing? Great. How are you? Great. No, nobody's doing great. And if you are doing great, God bless you. But it's the biggest lie every single day because you just don't want to bog somebody down with my dog died and I got in a car accident last night and yeah, you don't. So you just say great and you move on. But like some days just aren't great. Yesterday wasn't great for a while, and I went home from the show for the first time in a long time feeling good about myself. Like you guys help me. You guys are my therapy every night, so I can't thank you enough. Let's go to Mike in Oregon. Mike wants to start up the calls tonight. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, FT. I love you, brother. This time last year, you talked me off the shelf. I was in a bad place. And since then, I got out of my comfort zone. I called in every night. I left myself be exposed. I'm in a place right now where everybody here steps out of their comfort zone here at the WBRC, the Blind Center. We were talking about tonight. 3 of us decided to bail on dinner because it stinks. And so we took a lift. And we went over to the Stanford Mall, and we went to the outside cafe over at the California Pizza Kitchen. And the 3 of us, my buddy Joseph and my buddy Jerry, we're all visually impaired, and we had a frickin' ball. We let go. We let our hair down. We just be ourselves and celebrated just being out and enjoying life. And it was so liberating that we just, broke out of the cage, so to speak, And we came back, and I'm back here now. And just reflecting on what you said, I was catching this. And FP, I told you before, and I've told everybody else, you are who you are across the air. You've treated me like an absolute, I don't even deserve what you've done for me. You've been so great. You're a mensch, dude, and you're a paisan. The Italian thing is so real, about sincerity, about family, about others. I'm here with guys like that. I did something out of my comfort zone. They asked me I told you I did a speech here for White Cane Day. And it wasn't about me. It was about giving back to this community who's given to me. And it's just, I'm tired of all the grief and all the crap in the world. And I love sports. It's part of my life. But you know what? You're right. Going out with these guys, not watching football, not going to a sports bar. We sat outside and talked to each other and hung out. And that was so rewarding.
Well, it's good, dude. Get out of your comfort zone. As long as you weren't driving the lift over there, we're all good. And I'm glad you guys went to...
Well, I drove it on the way back, but the guy was a little pissed.
like the scene in Wolf of Wall Street when he got in his Lamborghini and he thought he made it home like unscathed, and he went out there and looked at it.
Dude, you should have seen this guy. He comes to pick us up, and there's 3 White Cane guys standing out there going, 3 blind mics. And he was dying. And then we show up at the restaurant. We're falling out. I go, is this a restaurant? And they go, yes. And I go, you sure? We just, it's okay, man.
Keep getting out of your comfort zone, dude. Keep getting out of your box. I've done these therapy sessions with a wonderful woman. Her name's Martha Borst, and she's up in Healdsburg, and she's changed my life big time. And we actually do a drill where we draw a box around us, and we literally step out of the box, and it signifies like doing something different to like change your routine. Like we all have a routine. We're comfortable, right? It's easy. That's easy just to do the same things every day. But like to step out of your box, because there's so much potential out there to like for money, for growth, for jobs, for friendships, for relationships, for whatever. But how are we ever going to do that if we just keep staying in our little box every single day? Like I don't want to get too preachy, but I'm just trying to encourage. That's all.
I mean, by talking to other people, I've talked to other people this week. I've heard some fantastic stories. The true story behind One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a person who met the real Patch Adams, who happens to be my neighbor, his daughter.
You know what's weird about that? Cool. You talking about dinner? That was the first thing that came to my mind when they all went on that fishing trip on Cuckoo's Nest. and Martini was driving the boat and singing "I'm Up by the Sailor Man." Yeah, that's one of my favorite books and one of my favorite movies of all time.
But the true story behind it, I got some details about it. I met somebody who actually worked with the character portrayed as Nurse Ratched. It is so cool. And so I wouldn't know that without opening up myself and talking to somebody.
Good, dude.
And
Keep
so
doing it.
that's outside the comfort zone. That's what I'm saying, brother. And thank you for everything you've given me and what you're giving in this community. And God bless, bro.
Oh, dude, I'm not doing anything. You guys are doing all the work. But thanks, Mike. Thanks for being a friend. Thanks for the call. Let's have a good weekend. If I don't talk to you tomorrow, I'm sure you'll call tomorrow. We got one more show before we go to L.A. Have a good night, Mike. I'm glad you guys went to dinner tonight and had a good time. That makes my day. Let's go to Johan in San Ramon. Johan, you're on KNBR 680, the life leader. What's going on?
FP, man. I've called a couple times. First time I called was to relate that I waited on you back in the day at Paul Martin's. But, dude, first of all, everything you're saying, you're preaching to the choir right now. A couple months ago, started driving Lyft, Uber, and this in the nighttime. I called the other day. I'm a teacher. And I can't even speak. This hearing tonight, this brought everything tenfold into my mind. Listening to you online, on the radio, online, wherever I'm at, that 6 to 10 hour, it's cathartic to me. And you can tell that you're in therapy, man. To get out of the box, that comfort zone, everything you were just saying, I'm relating to right now because I had to rip myself out of that COVID comfort zone I built for myself recently.
Wow, I think that's what we're all doing, right? We got so used to just
yeah.
It's screwed. I think it screwed us all up, dude. Seriously.
Everybody. It's so true. And I talk to my students. The day I started talking to my students about what I've gone through and just opening up. And if you're familiar, Jason Ellis, he was on Faction Radio on XM and he has a show. And they had a segment called "Get the D Off Your Chest." I can't say the D. We're on radio.
Yeah.
And it was all about just getting that one thing you did that was dark and dirty, and you were always scared to say it out. Get it out there. Let it out. And hearing everybody on here, it's just that for me. And it's all just made sense of why every night I'm in the car and I'm like, I used to just put music on and escape life. But I've been turning the radio on from 6 to 10 and just listening to the show.
Yeah, dude, isn't it cool just to hear people call in and hear their stories, whether it's about sports or life or whatever, their takes on things. It's the most fascinating thing that I do every day. My life is pretty mundane. It's pretty boring. And then I get here and I turn into a different person on the air and I have such a good time with you guys. Yeah. And you guys are my therapy. When I come in here every night, whatever's going on in my life that ain't great, you guys call and it's oh man.
Dude, but my favorite part to say to you right now is I'm an old Rise guy up in the Sacramento area. I've been listening to you since back then, and hearing you now to then, it's just tenfold different, and you can tell dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, dude, I had no idea what I was doing. First of all, I had no idea what I was doing then. I still don't. But I did half of those shows half drunk from the night before because I was I was a single man back then. Well, I still am, but I was a single man back then.
You and Bernsey and Napier late night, man. I know you guys were going out. It was a weeknight. I was I got to work tomorrow, but those guys, I'm staying.
Yeah, the 5 to 6 a.m. hour, I was pretty dizzy and spinny a lot of days doing that show. But I had fun. Whitey Gleason's still a really good friend of mine. We text all the time, and he's a wonderful human being.
Laugh so much, man.
I didn't realize because I had just started in broadcasting how good Whitey Gleason was and what a professional he is. He is top notch, dude. He's a top notch person. He's a top notch.
Carmichael Dave too, bro.
Yeah, Carmichael. He's still a dork though. With Carmichael Dave, he's a dork. He's a dork. And I love him though. He's great. He's great. Back to the good old days. That was fun. I got my start with the Rise guys doing 5 to 9 a.m.
And then you came to the Giants, and then you were cutting your teeth, and you went to Washington, and we're there goes FD.
One night, literally, I had a party back at my house. I'm I got to get up at 4 for my show. And I lived in Folsom by Empire Ranch, and I had 6 or 7 people. We grabbed bottles of wine and champagne, and I lived right by the driving range there at the golf course, and we went and hit golf balls till and I went straight to work from the driving range, and we were because it's pretty well lit at night, so we just ran out on the driving range. There was golf balls everywhere. We filled up 5 buckets. There was guys, there was girls. We had a blast, and that was I don't think I was quite ready to become a pro broadcaster yet. I was still a baseball player that was frustrated that I wasn't playing. But now I look at myself the opposite. I can't even believe I ever played. So this is
this
is
funny.
cool.
That was my first call to you, bro.
Yeah?
That was my first call. Yeah, I was all choppy. I was all, I'm like, hey, I listened to you back then, and you now, you've come so far, dude. Like it shows,
Thanks,
and I
dude.
just want to say thank you for that, man.
Yeah, dude. Keep it up, man.
Like,
Keep up the good work, bro.
hey,
Keep up the
thank you for your
positivity.
time, dude.
Yeah,
you
dude.
have a great night, man.
Take care, Johan. Good stuff.
All right, peace.
Yeah, this is fun. We only got to do an hour tonight. Who cares about sports? The Golden State Lumber line, the building materials lumber line. The 530s chiming in. NFP, what you guys do on KNBR is way more important than just sports. KNBR is on my speakers from 7 a.m. until midnight. That's what we're talking about. It's my connection to home. We all go through different things at different times. For me, without KNBR, I'd feel lost. It's the last part of home I get to hold on to. I need KNBR to get through my day. And for the record, Mike is not your only blind listener. Oh, all right. Well, that's cool. Awesome. Let me see. The 280. Hey, Santangelo, I was listening to the football game tonight, KNBR. I was wondering if you were going to be on tonight because I keep thinking, well, we do a great job of promoting my show here. Never. I don't think I have one promotion on the station, and nobody ever knows when I'm on or when I'm not on. So that's something I think needs to change. I love sports talk radio, and I love when you start talking about things like Moose, Mouse, and Mark. Love this. I screwed Mouse's name up 18 times last night. Happy birthday coming up. Hey, Duck Shack Jimbo. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to be really old on Tuesday. But it's better than better than the alternative. All right, on the other side of the break, we are going to get into sports. Enough of this mushy stuff. I want to talk about Jim Harbaugh. Did you see what's going on at Michigan right now? There's a sign-stealing scandal at Michigan. And there's an NCAA investigation. And you're never going to believe what Michigan State said, who they're playing this week. That coming up next on The Sports Leader. One of my buddies just texted me and said, "You're not Oprah. Get back to sports." And he's right. I'm Fopra. Capital F, lowercase o, capital P, lowercase R-A-H. Fopra. It's the Fopra show. Did you see what's going on at the University of Michigan right now? And you guys know I'm maize and blue, right? My mom went to University of Michigan, so I grew up watching Bo Schembechler and the Wolverines. But apparently there's an investigation going on that Jim Harbaugh is sending scouts to games of opponents that Michigan is about to play and stealing their signs. And I guess that's frowned upon. I don't know. It says it's illegal. He said, "I do not have any knowledge or information regarding the University of Michigan football program illegally stealing signs." Anyways, I don't see why this is a big deal. Apparently, you're not supposed to use video equipment. So if they're like setting up cameras at other games, I get it. But like my dad was a high school football coach. They would scout. They would go sit in the stands and scout the team they were going to play next week, the week before. Like if it was a Saturday game and they played on Friday, or if he played on Friday, he would send like a freshman coach there to scout the team. I don't understand why that's a big deal. But like it goes on that like Michigan State considered not playing the game this week because of that. They said for the safety of their players. I might have the worst take ever on this, so I apologize in advance. I don't see what the big deal is. Like if you're dumb enough for me to steal your signs, make your signs more difficult. Like if your signs are that easy that I could send some nerd from my analytics department over there, and he picks up your signs for offense or defense that your relaying plays in, then have tougher signs. I don't know, maybe it's the baseball player in me, because I remember Dusty Baker and I got into it when I was in Expo, and Dusty was the manager of the Giants. And Sonny Jackson was the third base coach, and I was in Montreal, and he said something to me running off the field. We were beating the Giants at Candlestick like 10-0 one day, and Sonny Jackson said, "You're going to get somebody hurt, Santangelo." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're relaying signs from second." I'm like, "No, I'm not." So it happened a couple more times. And I said something, like a smartass that I am. I said, "Well, then have tougher signs so I can't steal them. You're using first sign after 2. That's really hard to pick up. So you're standing on second base. You see 3, 1, 4, 2, 2. And he throws a curveball. Okay, maybe it's the first sign after 2. And then you see 3, 1, 2, 1, 3. So 2, 1. Oh, and then they throw a fastball. Oh, it is first sign after 2. Like, okay, these are remedial signs, bro, that a 5th grader on second base could steal. Fix your signs. So that's the part. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here and I'm way off base, and college football has like tighter rules. But that's legal cheating to me. Like the whole buzzers on your chest, allegedly, and banging of the trash cans and having the video guy sitting right behind the bench and all that. I mean, I did it. I lived it. Baseball players are looking for an edge any way they can get. I talked to one of my teammates in Los Angeles one year, and this is in 2001, and we were thinking about going to a spy shop and getting like wireless earpieces and putting them in, and I just go up to the clubhouse and say, "Fastball." And we thought about it, and we were like, "No," because I'll crash into the catcher, and the earpiece will fall out on home plate, and we get caught. But like baseball players are always looking for an edge. Anybody in sports always looking for an edge. I'm not seeing this as like, oh my God. And this article in Sports Illustrated is obviously written by somebody that went to Ohio State, because it talks about how it's going to taint their image, and how does Michigan really need, since they're getting 5-star recruits, does Michigan really need to have this advantage to beat somebody on a Saturday afternoon? And then for Michigan State, who has a lot of problems with them's own self, they have a lot of crap going on all over that university with athletics, whether it's gymnastics, whether it's the football coach, whether it's whatever. And they're going to call and say they're not going to play? It's not fair to the kids on that team. But they're playing, but they threaten that. So I don't know. Am I off here? Are you guys like, yeah, that's terrible. Oh, my God, he's sending people to Northwestern to watch the Northwestern game, and they're figuring out their signs? If it was Northwestern, I just threw that out there. Like, they're smart enough, right? That's like if Stanford got their signs stolen. Like, you go to Stanford, bro. Like, you should be doing some stuff that I can't even think of it. It should be like, I don't know, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and calculus signs. that only you guys can get because you go to Stanford. It's some dumb school like USC, and they're just go like, what? I don't know. I think they're going to launch a new rocket ship with Elon, is what I picked up on that one. Let's go to Joe in San Rafael. Joe, you're on KNBR. With together. We're with each other a short time tonight. We're with together. What is that? I can't even
Hey, it's Joel in San Rafael.
Hey, Joel, it's all right. Raph can't hear. He's in a band.
No problem. I want to talk about managers, specifically Bruce Bochy and Gabe Kapler. We all love Bochy, and most of the baseball world thinks he's a great manager. I do too. He got us 3 World Series. But look at the last 2 games. They won their first 2 games in Houston, and then they come home to Texas. They're getting creamed. People are saying, oh, Bochy's terrible. He doesn't push the right buttons.
Who's saying that? Nobody's saying that. Who's saying that? Nobody's saying that.
Nobody's saying, they don't have the right energy. And he's got great players, great hitters and great pitchers. Kapler does not have a lot of great players or great pitchers, and he's a victim of his players. So I'm just saying I was a fan of his, and I think he got fired because a lot of fans who don't know anything, say he's a terrible manager. But when Bruce Bochy makes the same mistakes or has the same results coming home after winning 2 games on the road, nobody criticizes him that way.
Well, I would argue with one thing here. Like, Gabe probably felt like he had a way of doing it, and that way worked. And when you win 107 games, that kind of cements and tattoos the way you're going to go about things. But, the way you go about things has to be flexible, and it has to be adjustable. And you have to remember there's human beings inside of those jerseys. So when you go take Logan Webb out after 8 2/3 and he's 1 out away from a complete game, and then Camilo Duvall comes in and blows it. Bruce Bochy would never do that. If it was Madison Bumgarner or Tim Lincecum, they're finishing that game. So those things go a long way with the players in the clubhouse. If Mitch Haniger finally hits his first home run at Oracle Park, and then he gets pinch hit for the next time up because the matchup is better, Bruce Bochy's letting you hit the next time up if you finally lock in your swing and you hit a home run. So there's things that Gabe felt like he had to do to be successful that weren't conducive to developing people's confidence as players and weren't conducive to, quite frankly, winning this year. So, I didn't necessarily have a problem with Gabe, but, you're dealt the hand you're given as a manager, and you have to get the most out of your players. And his method and the way he did it in his mind was the best way that he thought he was giving his chance a team to win. Meanwhile, it wasn't giving people a chance to grow. It wasn't giving the clubhouse a chance to come together and have the special bonds that Philadelphia has right now or Arizona has right now. So,
well, I agree with you, and I've heard you make that point before about how you get confidence if you go 0 for 3 and then you get up the 4th time and you get a hit. And I agree with you completely, and it's great to hear your take on that because you've been there and done that. But still, if Mitch, the players that the Giants signed in the offseason, if they had come through, if Mitch Haniger had a good season, if Conforto had a good season, the Giants would have won a lot more games.
Yeah, but Joe, how could they have good seasons when they're playing 1 out of every 3 games and they're playing half games? I mean, when they were healthy, Michael Conforto got pinch hit for in the 5th inning one night, and they signed him to a big deal. Mitch Haniger got pinch hit for after he hit a home run. So everyone's saying, well, if these guys had good seasons, I don't know if that you could make the argument, were they allowed to have good seasons?
How were they allowed when we won 107 games?
Yeah, I wasn't here for that. I was back in D.C., so the only thing I know is people's accounts of that. I wasn't here for that.
The Giants had more pinch hit home runs than any team in the majors.
I knew that, but I was told that more guys played every day that year, and it wasn't this crazy line change every time another pitcher came in. And if I'm being honest, I think Gabe got so carried away with trying to be smarter than the other manager and trying to make the moves and to have the lineup that countered his bullpen and to make the moves in game that he thought would help his team win, and he got so all consumed in the margins, in the advantages, and not the people, that it kind of led to his demise. If I'm being honest, he's not a bad guy. I like Gabe. I'm just being honest about what I saw as a former player.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of truth in what you're saying, but I also think the Giants had a lot of bad luck, a lot of bad breaks, a lot of good. Like I remember towards the end of the season, there was a play, ball got away, and I think it was on a Bailey. A guy was trying to steal third, and Bailey made a bad throw, and it got away. And Wilmer picked the ball up, and all he had to do was make a decent throw to the plate. And he's a good defensive player, and he threw the ball away. Do you remember that play?
Yeah, but the fundamentals this year, Joe, were not good. Whether it was getting a guy over from second on a leadoff double, the fundamentals of hitting cutoffs, throwing to the right base, keeping the double play in order, running the bases aggressively, intelligently, knowing when to take chances, knowing when not to take chances. These are all on the manager. Like, you have to go over these things. We would take days in spring training and just do base running, and we hated it. But we would practice base running. We would practice all the fundamentals. We would practice every single day. And then we would do it during the season to where, it was second nature for us. We'd practice every day in BP our base running. We would practice bunting guys over. We'd practice hitting runs. We'd practice getting them over so that we got in the game and it was September, June, or July. We just did it. So, these things fall on the skipper. They do, whether it's his fault or not.
You don't think his coaching staff did those drills?
They did, but I'm just saying there was a very relaxed atmosphere. Everything was optional. And there's times when you're not doing things the way you're supposed to do when it can't be relaxed anymore. And then you take the cell phone away. You ground them for a little bit and you say, look, I've given you guys a lot of leeway here. I've made everything optional, whether it's ground balls, whether it's batting practice, whether it's infield, outfield. And we're not playing well, so guess what? It's not optional anymore. We're hitting today. We're taking ground balls today. And everybody's out there stretching at 4:05, and everybody's doing it together. We're stretching as a team. We're playing catch as a team. We're taking batting practice as a team. We're taking infield, outfield as a team. And then there's no more optional. You make them uncomfortable. And it's not like a punishment, but it's like, hey, I gave you guys a chance. The chance ain't working, so this is how we're going to do it. And I don't think that was done ever.
And you think that would have given the Giants a winning season if they'd done those things?
4 or 5 more games in the playoffs? Absolutely, yeah. I do. I don't know where they would have went with it, but who knows once you get in the tournament. But if they played fundamentally sound baseball, I can't tell you how many times I was pulling my hair out on leadoff doubles that got stranded and not advanced. I don't think it was a philosophy. I don't think it was part of the thing. It was like, well, he's on second. He's got 3 chances to drive him in. Meanwhile, you're seeing teams that win 100 games getting the guy over almost every time. That's just... I'll be dead and buried for 100 years, and you got to get a leadoff double over. I'm sorry.
Well, of course, when you have the ghost runner in 10th inning,
yeah,
a lot of teams won't get the guy over.
That drives me nuts too. I'll take the run and then put pressure on you, but apparently the analytics say that you don't. Joe, thanks for the call, man. Good stuff.
All right, thanks.
Let's go to Francisco and San Jose. Francisco. That's a hard one because it's Francisco and San Jose. It could be Jose from San Francisco, or it could be San from Jose Francisco.
Yeah,
that's
for
a
sure.
tough one, dude.
I want to follow up on what the previous caller just said, but I'm going to ask you a separate question first. So I'm hearing a lot about the Japanese and the Korean players that are rumored to be signing with the major league teams this year. The thing is that I feel like a lot of people are making judgments on them without having actually seen them play. We kind of look at their stats a little bit. But the thing is, how am I supposed to, if I compile a free agent list on who I want the Giants to sign, how am I supposed to know who I want more, how much to give to that player when I actually haven't seen them play at a major league level or a level kind of comparable? Because we've seen guys come from NPB, KBO, but we kind of don't know where to slot them. And it is kind of if I don't see them play or I don't really, I just look at what they do in the stat sheet, I'm not totally sure.
Are you talking about you or the Giants? Because if you're talking about an organization, you have to rely on your scouts and your scouting department. And you go look at these guys and you're like, he has good bat speed, but his foot speed's this, and he's got slider speed bad, or his hands are quick. He's got legit big league pop. I saw him turn around a 98-mile-an-hour fastball in his hands and hit it 10 rows deep. I saw the action on his fastball. He's got late life. He's got spin rate in the strike zone. So you got to rely on your scouts for that. And then they project, just like when you see a college player, you project. Like, this guy could be a 20-home run guy for us next year. I don't like this guy. I think he's hitting with a rolled-up newspaper. So you got to rely on your scouting department. in that regard. You need boots on the ground to go watch those guys play. You can't just do it over video. You can't just do it over stats.
For sure, but at the same time, I think there's limitations to it. I feel like, you have to see someone for a long time because, like, if you and I go there, let's pretend we're both scouts and, you're a former player and I have no experience. But let's pretend we go to Korea and we watch him for a week even. A week, you can see probably
Wait.
the gamut on.
Wait, since we're pretending, are we really good friends? Are we bringing our significant others on the trip? Is it like a vacation? Or is it just you and I? Is it just a guy's trip, you and I, because we're good friends and we're going to go over there?
No. This is us going there to do the job.
Come on, we're pretending though. Jose from San Francisco, we're pretending. No, go ahead. Okay, so we're going over there. We're watching the Korean League, and we get there. We're like, this is a joke. These guys suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, it's not about what the actual result is. The idea is that if we go there for 1 week, we're only going to see like maybe 50-60% of what we need to see, if that, right? Because we're going to see repetitions throughout the season. I feel like you need to have, if you're using scouts in that way, you need to have someone there for a whole season, multiple seasons, and see them on a consistent basis. But obviously the resources aren't necessarily there to do that. So I feel like I'm just confused on how much I should want these players and how much the Giants should want these players. Because I'm reading all these articles about it, and I'm just not sure like how we can really project it. I mean, same thing with the draft, but at least we kind of know, the power conferences in the United States and stuff. It's just the KBO and NPB. We're not sure where that level is.
I think it's risky, man. I think it's risky, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but at the same time, like everything I read, it's like, Yamamoto is the big pitcher, and he's supposed to get maybe even $200 million, something like that. Like that is kind of. I'm just saying that it's hard to really make a judgment, and I like to do this in my life. I like to avoid making judgments on things that I don't know. And so when I'm putting together, for fun, I like to put together a top 10 list of players I want the Giants to sign, or I want, whoever's favorite, whoever I rank, to like, I want this player. I feel like I have to exclude the Japanese and the KBO players, not because they're bad, but because I just don't know them. I can't make a judgment, but I'm seeing all these crazy kind of contract predictions, and I'm just not sure about it.
Doesn't Yamamoto have like the yo-yo curve or something like that? And he's thrown like no-hitters all over the place in Japan, I believe. Did he throw back-to-back no-hitters or something like that?
Something like that. Like he has like a chance for a no-hitter like 30-40% of the time or something like that. I don't know.
All right. Well, we need to sign that guy. How's our trip going? Are we doing okay? Are we staying in different rooms or are we staying in the same room? Like in double beds?
It depends on how strong the dollar is.
Okay. Wait, and where are we going to dinner tonight? Since this is all pretend and we took a trip together and we're scouting.
Yeah, I mean, however much our budget is, I don't know.
You know what scouts do at night? They get pissed drunk. They do. They go watch baseball games and they're all drinkers. So we're gonna get drunk together and then we're coming home. All right?
Yeah, and that's doing your job, right?
Yep. And then we'll bring a couple players back with us. We'll get them through customs and we'll make them Giants. And that's our pretend trip with Francisco from San Jose. Thanks, Francisco. Good stuff, man. I gotta do my homework. You're making me want to do my homework on the Korean players and the Japanese players. I haven't looked or researched at all, and that might be out of the box sort of way for the Giants to get really good a lot quicker than you'd think, right?
Yeah. So there's three, I think. So there's Yamamoto. He's the big fish. That's like $200 million starting pitcher. Like has basically won the Cy Young, the Japanese Cy Young, like 2-3 times, something like that, an MVP or whatever. And then there's Lee. I don't remember his first name. I think Jung-Hoo Lee, I believe, is the Korean player.
All right.
He's supposed to be a center fielder with great defense, in unbelievable plate discipline. I think more like twice as many walks as strikeouts. They're not sure about the power. And then the last player, I believe, is Matsui. He is also a starting pitcher, but not quite at the level of the first guy. So there's the three.
I say sign them all and see what happens. It's not my money. Why not?
Yeah.
Get them all here. If you hit on one of them, great. And then, I don't know, send the other two to Sacramento.
Yeah, I don't know if we can do that with players are giving $100 million, $200 million to, but I guess they do have the minor league options. So yeah.
All right, Francisco, have a good weekend, man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break, then we'll wrap up the show on the other side. You're listening to The Sports Leader. All right, fun show tonight. Great job, Ref. That was one of the best shows I ever produced in the history of the world. We did a hot hour together. Let's do an hour every night. Would you rather have just a balls out hour or just like a dragging ass 4 hours? How about somewhere in the middle, like a 3-hour show where you just go balls out and just call it Balls Out with FP Santangelo instead of KNBR Tonight? Like, let's go. Or 2 hours of just straight to the brain sports talk radio. And then not play replays from 9 to 10.
Yes.
Yes. It was fun tonight. Great calls. Hey, we came on after a football game that nobody cared about. We had a really good show. I appreciate all the calls. You guys are amazing. I have the greatest listeners in the history of sports talk radio. I wish I could give you guys all a big hug and an award or something, like a trophy or a blue ribbon or something. You guys are fantastic. We'll be back at 6 to 10 p.m. tomorrow night. And then I'm off until Tuesday because the Niners game is Monday night. Tuesday is my birthday. I'm doing no show prep. I want 4 hours of phone calls that say happy birthday, FP. I'm literally coming in and flipping the switch. It's my birthday. I'm not getting up. I'm not doing the coffee, flip open the computer, get all the segments ready. I'm literally coming in naked, cold turkey, strapping it on, and doing a show, and you guys are going to carry the show on my birthday.
Yes.
Thanks for all the calls tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow night from 6 to 10 p.m. And like I say on the way out every single night, swing hard in case you hit it on The Sports Leader.